Yeah, we were on our way here. We do a kind of a field right over here in Derby, 5 minutes away, and we haven't been able to mow it for a couple weeks because of all the rain, and it's flooded, and it's every bit of, you know.
Well, then this will be yours.
And we were coming back. We passed it. We was like, "Yep, I know where we're going to test that thing out on first thing."
Exactly.
We're getting ready to actually test it a little bit further right now. This was probably every bit of knee high right here. We're gonna go up to waist high here in just a second. This stuff here we've actually mowed. It's been a couple weeks, but this stuff right over here, just because the ground has been really wet, it's been every bit of 3 weeks, maybe 4. And you can see Justin, it's waist high to Justin. Here, kind of walk through there, make sure we can kind of, it's all pretty evenly waist high. So you can kind of tell the difference where we're gonna go. So let me back up here for just a minute and tell you guys kind of how this relationship with Cub Cadet kind of evolved. So they called me about a month ago. We talked on the phone for a little bit, and they wanted to know if they could sponsor a couple videos on my channel and have me do a review on this mower. And to be quite honest with everybody, I was very skeptical about you know, getting on a Cub Cadet, because I've never looked at Cub Cadet as a commercial mower, as a mower that I would run in my business. And you know, one of the first things I expressed to them is I want to be able to take this mower, use it in you know, a few different settings, applications, whatever you want to call it, and give my honest opinion and give my honest review. And I want to be able to, you know, say, I do not like your machine, because I didn't think I was going to like the machine. I didn't think I was going to be able to, you know, say a lot of good things about it. So I wanted to make that clear from the get-go that, hey, if there's something I don't like, or whatever the case may be, I want to be able to speak about that freely, you know, and just kind of give my honest opinions about this mower. And they were like, sure, no problem. They never wavered one bit. And I even backed that up in an email a couple weeks later when we were kind of going over some other stuff. Just like, hey, just wanted to make sure we're on the same page here, that, you know, I can give my honest opinion, I can give my honest review about this machine. They were like, yep, go for it. And I was like, to me, that was pretty cool. So I tell you guys that because I was actually really emphatic about that, because I didn't think I was going to like the machine. And I wanted to be able to say, I do not like your machine. So basically what I told Cub Cadet is I was like, hey, there's 3 applications I would like to use your machine on, and it's kind of based on what this machine they said is made for. So we're going to use it in some tall grass, we're going to use it on some nice grass, and then we're going to use it on some hills. We're going to kind of put this thing through the test and see how it does. And that's what this review is all about. So this video right here is going to be all about the rep bringing me the mower, the rep kind of going over all the features of the mower, what it's designed to do, warranty, all that type of stuff. And then we're actually going to cut some grass in this video. We had a property that it had been a while. We got some really tall grass to mow, and then we also took it out on a nice property, property where we're only cutting a couple inches off, all that type of stuff. And then in the next video we're going to show in about a week, we're going to take it and we're going to try to find some steep hills, and we're going to see how it handles hills, because those are the 3 things that they said this mower can do. They said it can mow through tall grass, no problem. It's supposed to be able to hold up to 25 degrees of hills, and it's supposed to be used, you know, in all different applications. So that's what we're going to try to do. So right now, let's listen to Jefferson, the rep, and see kind of the different features of this mower, and then we're going to get into some really tall, wet, thick grass. So anyway, we're here with Jefferson. from Cub Cadet, and we are going to test out the, I don't even know what model it is, the Pro Z 972 SD. It's the dually 72-inch mower. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to have Jefferson kind of take us around the mower and kind of show us kind of the, the features of this mower, kind of what it's designed for, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna let you have it for a couple minutes.
First things first, as you can tell, we build this thing to just be an absolute beast. Basically, perception is reality when it comes to this machine. You walk up, everything you touch, see, feel, it's all just as...
That was my first impression when you pulled it off. I was like, this thing just looks way bigger in person. Yep. And of course, Cub Cadet sent me some pictures and things like that, and I've seen a couple videos from other guys on it, but I'm like, it just feels like it's just massive.
Exactly, and that's what we've tried to do with the new Pro lineup. Obviously, we're well aware Cub Cadet's been known for decades as, just king of the residential market. We take pride in that. We sell a lot of mowers and stand behind our mowers. Whether it's a garden tractor all the way to our new Ultima lineup that's just absolutely crushing the market right now. This model in particular, like I was kind of telling you briefly, has the steering wheel technology. The steering wheel technology is absolutely amazing. We've had this pretty much wrapped up for 13 years now. It's not something that we've just gotten into or just dabbling in. It is something that we're pushing harder in the commercial market, and the neatest thing about it is seeing people's just mind completely shift and the perception change as soon as they get their butt in the seat on this thing.
Yeah, as far as that goes, I'm not gonna lie. When I first seen the steering wheel, I was like,
yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Probably not gonna be a fan of that. I can already tell you it's gonna take some getting used to, having to steer.
Yep.
Because you're just not, a lot of us guys, we've been running mowers for 15, 20 years, and we've been running mowers one way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
One way, and we drive a car one way. So it's definitely going to be different.
It's a change up for the guy that's had the lap bar style, 20, 30 years now, obviously. But whether you're a seasoned pro or you've never been on a lawnmower at all, much less a zero turn, that's one of the cool selling points about this machine. Your landscaping crews, it's pretty high turnover as far as personnel and employees go. Somebody that's never been on one, you can trust them to jump on this thing and just take off.
Yeah.
The dual wheel unit, it is a little more aggressive. The tire tread, as well as just the turn on it, is a little more aggressive. However, the steering wheel technology itself, the regular unit, is a single wheel unit, and it's as close to impossible as it gets to turf, which everybody knows. You go to make a 180-degree turn, don't spin one side, you're pulling a plug.
Sure.
Steering wheel almost eliminates that.
Really?
Because from the seat back, it's the exact same. This mower's the exact same as the lap bar model. Transmissions are the same and everything. Basically, you've got our technology under the pad, which we refer to as the cuckoo clock. It's way more intimidating looking than it actually is. But basically what you're doing is, with power steering, obviously assisted, whenever you're turning right, you've actually got pressure going back to the transmission that's going to counter rotate that right side tire. So just like pulling back on the right hand side of a lap bar, whenever you turn right, it's the same effect as pulling back on the right. Your right tire is going to slow down.
Gotcha.
You kick this thing all the way to the right, and that back right tire is actually going to be spinning backwards. So when you go,
so you guys are trying to eliminate that.
It is. It takes all the thought out of it. Whereas when you're having to kind of go around a tree and worry about which tire's turning, you don't think about that with the steering wheel. You just rip it. You just
I've always wondered kind of what the benefits were in the steering wheel versus the lap bar. Like, why would you do that? And now,
besides,
I guess it's making more sense now. But is there any other kind of features that would
So no matter what company, what brand, what color zero turn, if it's a lap bar model, red, blue, orange, yellow, purple, it doesn't matter. It's rated for a 15-degree slope. You add the steering wheel technology, which actually holds the front tires in line, as well as the way we've got it widened, lengthened, and balanced and everything, you automatically step up to a 20-degree slope. With the dual wheel unit, we've got front counterweights, basically more rubber touching the ground in the back. The way we've got this thing balanced, you're up to a 25-degree slope. We've got a total of 3 inches of overlap in the actual blade configuration. Standard in the industry is 0.75 to an inch, somewhere right in there, where we're running 1.5 inches, which basically means you don't have the stripes of stragglers on the
so
big,
you are
stuff.
So are the blades timed then?
They're not timed. They're basically offset, where they're not ever going to hit or anything along those lines.
But they do overlap.
They do overlap. You're going to have the overlap because the outside are set back where the inside set forward a little bit, with a 1.5 on each one, so a total of 3 inches of overlap. Wow. Definitely.
That's pretty cool.
Starting with the front of this thing, you've got a full cast iron front end. We overbuild the front of our Pro units, whether it's the 1/2-inch steel on the front axles, like I said, the cast iron on the S models. We know commercial guys aren't going to hop off this thing in your parks and rec settings to move trash cans or picnic tables. They're going to ram them with the mower.
No, we don't. We don't.
We aren't blind to this stuff. That's what. And when it comes to durability, like I said, obviously we know people are slamming this thing, and that's just the nature of the business.
So let me ask you this. Sorry.
No, you're
I didn't mean to cut you off. So last year we got into a lot of city properties. We were mowing 30, 35 acres each property. And one thing I figured out really quick when you're doing those kind of properties is you're hopping curbs. You're doing all kinds of things like that because you're using big machines. You need to get where you need to get, and there's just no good access for this type of machine on that type of property. So I guess my question is so like, with this machine, obviously I'd be hopping curbs all day long. Is it designed for that? Will it handle that?
Oh yeah, definitely. The front axles on our commercial machines are actually a pivoting front axle. It's going to make for a smoother ride, but we actually put isometric platforms in there. So whenever you're hopping a curb, or if you're swinging out, mowing like this curbside right here, and this, let's say the front right tire kind of goes over the edge, it's going to stop it from that whole wheel on like a normal, let some of these machines out with suspension, and that wheel's just going to drop completely down. And whenever you go to hook back up, I mean, it's a nightmare because you're trying to mow and your wheel's falling down, and this keeps it from doing that. So you get the comfortable ride as well as no drop off on the wheels itself.
Gotcha.
But yes, this thing's built to do it all.
That was kind of my question is it designed for that?
Yes.
I mean, so like if I'm out, doing a big property like that, week after week after week, something breaks or something like that, and I say, hey, they say, what have you been doing with this thing for a month? I said, well, I've been hopping curbs all day long. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be made for, right?
Right. This is, when we say commercial and when you say pro, it doesn't mean the weekender, that wants to say he's got a tough machine. Well, this is meant for the guy mowing all day, every day.
I'm actually really impressed with the unlimited hours.
Yep.
I really am. I mean, we don't put a ton of hours on our machines. I had one last year that got right around 500. Okay, but obviously, if you're buying this machine, you're mowing some properties. You're mowing some acreage, which means you're putting a lot of hours on it. And unlimited for how many years? What'd you say? 3?
3 years unlimited.
3 years unlimited.
The deck and spindle assembly, everything below the machine is. 5 year.
I literally can see. I would say on the low scale, if you're buying a machine like this, you're putting 500 hours a year, 500 hours per year. That's 1,500 hours.
Yep.
you know, on the high side, like you said, you can get up to in the thousands.
Oh yeah.
So unlimited for 3 years, you could actually get up to around 3,000 hours, and all your main components are still covered, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's impressive.
It is.
That's impressive.
It is. We hope you don't have any big issues. We tried to.
Sure.
I mean,
Well, that tells me you guys are confident in your product.
Oh, we stand behind it for sure.
Because you wouldn't do that if you knew you wasn't putting out a quality product, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because that's going to cost you a lot of money, right?
Exactly.
All right, guys, so we're out here testing the new Cub Cadet, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this stuff is wet. It's very, very wet, very thick. We haven't been able to mow this property in every bit of 2 weeks because of all the rain we've been getting. And we're gonna put this thing really, really to the test right off the bat. This is definitely just not good conditions at all. And you can kind of see, like I said, it is nothing but wet, weeds, all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna set this thing down right here. We're gonna mow this little field right here. Then after this one, on the other side over there, we actually have grass that's probably twice as big as tall as this one. And we're gonna see how it does on that one also. So let's set her down and see what she can do. All right, guys, so this here is the finished one pass. So one pass, you can see we got a few stragglers, but I'm telling you what, it's pretty clean cut. So I was just telling Justin here that this is very, very good in my opinion on the first cut. How tall and how wet it is, just how thick it was. And a lot of you guys know when you're cutting weeds, it sticks to the deck. We did have some clumping over here, but all in all, I'm telling you what, this is not bad at all. It's actually pretty good in my opinion. So we're getting ready to actually test it a little bit further right now. This was probably every bit of knee high right here. We're gonna go up to waist high here in just a second. This stuff here we've actually mowed. It's been a couple weeks, but this stuff right over here, just because the ground has been really wet, it's been every bit of 3 weeks, maybe 4. And you can see Justin, it's waist high to Justin. Here, kind of walk through there, make sure we can kind of, it's all pretty evenly waist high. So you can kind of tell the difference where we're gonna go. So, and one thing I forgot to mention is usually when I mow tall, thick grass like this, I put the deck up, we're cutting at like 4.5, maybe 5 inches. This is actually at 3.5 inches. That's actually pretty impressive. 3.5 inches, didn't bog down. Well, I shouldn't say that. One time it never was in danger of dying, but it did bog down a little bit over there. But that was because the first 2 or 3 passes I did in the same direction, and then I came back the opposite direction, and I'm going over all the clippings that I had thrown, just because I didn't want to throw clippings up here onto their nursery. So anyway, like I said, pretty darn well impressed. We're gonna test it out, like I said, even further. We're gonna go right over here and we're gonna mow all this. I am gonna put it up at 4 inches, which is still pretty low for that tall, that wet of grass, and we're gonna see how it does. All right, so we stopped back by the house real quick. Got that property done, and honestly, I really think it did a really good job. I was expecting it to struggle, that tall, that thick, and it really didn't struggle at all. Cut it really good, 2 passes, and looked really good considering where it was at. But what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna clean the deck real quick. I kind of want to see how much stuff is stuck to the bottom of that deck. Then we're gonna take it out. I got another couple acre property that's gonna be a little bit nicer grass, and we're gonna see how it handles that type of grass. But I want to get the deck clean, make sure we're giving it a fair estimate. You barely fit. Now you're fine, come on. Don't hit my golf clubs. That's good.
No.
Right. Let's check her out. Not too bad at all. A little dirty, but that's to be expected. Pretty wet grass, I'm telling you. All right. All right, guys, so there you have it. This was the video where, you guys seen the tall grass, you've seen the nice grass. We talked about a little bit earlier that the next video we're gonna find some hills. We're gonna see how it handles on that kind of stuff. I will say this. So far, I'm actually pretty impressed with the machine. In the next video, I'm gonna kind of give my opinions of the overall machine. There are some things about this machine that I'm not a big fan of, and we're gonna point those out in the next video. But so far, my first impressions are it is a good machine. It is cutting really well, and like I said, in the next video, we're gonna kind of go over it, kind of like Jefferson did in this video, but it's going to be kind of me going over the whole machine as a whole, what I like, what I don't like, all that type of stuff. So I know this was a really long video, but I wanted to kind of get some good footage on it. I wanted to really see how it does, and hopefully the footage that I got, you guys can kind of see kind of how it did as well. And I know, you know, in the tall grass, you know, there are some clumps there. Don't get me wrong, there's some clumps there. But considering what we had to work with, you know, grass every bit of 2 feet, 3 feet tall that was just soaking, and I mean soaking wet. You guys can see it when I'm out there mowing. You can see all the dew and all the water just shooting out of the chute. So that, I'm telling you, that grass was very, very wet. So far I'm pretty impressed with it, but we're going to test it on some hills. We're going to see how it does on that, and I'm going to give kind of my final thoughts and my overall review of the machine in the next video, which will be about a week, maybe a week and a half, something like that. I want to try to get some really good steep hills and see how it does on there, and we're going to go from there. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys later.